This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Into the studio. Here he is. The tornado himself. Miguel Maestre.
How good is that sound?
I know. I would crown you king.
Yes.
I'm more used to La Bamba or something like that. Come on,
Oh, I
guys.
remember La Bamba. Do you know the words of La Bamba?
Hey, what do you
Okay, because
mean?
we all just phonetically would
Yes,
sing
just
it.
go,
We go,
yeah.
ah la 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 Bamba.
Yeah, that's
ah
what
la la
everybody
la
do.
la Bamba.
What does it mean?
Necesito una poina de glasne.
Una
Una poina de glasne.
Is that how I do a sound in English?
Yes.
What is
Yes.
that? What are the words? What are the words?
Para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia. Una poca de gracia para mi patilla. Allá arriba, allá
So
arriba.
what does that
What does it
mean?
mean?
La bamba is like a popular Mexican kind of song that get people excited. It's like, to dance la bamba, you
Yeah.
need to be gracious and sexy. And
Double jointed.
I mean, you have two legs. I mean, like, it's like a really popular song. It's like, see a smile and get me a Vegemite sandwich.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
sure,
yes,
sure.
yeah.
So what were the lyrics though? What did it say?
So, para bailar la
Yeah.
bamba, to dance la bamba,
Yeah.
se necesita una poca de gracia.
Yeah.
You need to be gracious. Una poca de gracia para ti, para mí. A little bit of grace for you and I.
Yeah.
Allá arriba, allá arriba. Allá
Oh,
Oh, I almost
that
got
means
to
you're
the
going to do
level.
it.
Por ti seré.
I will be for you. I will be for you.
Oh, look at us getting educated.
That is the first time I've known what La Bamba means.
No.
I know, but you know what you say when you sing in a party, everybody's
Yes.
like, "Lele."
Correct.
That's exactly the same when I introduce myself to someone and say, "Hi, my name is Miguel. I'm cooking a paella." And people say, "Hi, Miguel. Nice paella."
That's right.
Excuse me.
A ver, what part of Miguel you don't understand, you idiot? I mean, paella, Miguel. I just get out of the chair already.
But saying things is hard though. I went into a Turkish restaurant, a takeaway place once, and I confidently went up and said, "I'll get the ham and cheese pied, thanks." And I went, "It's a pita."
But even people trying to pronounce, like, you
Yeah.
know, the Aussies, we're trying to pronounce things they in a different language
Yes.
and giving it like too much. So you'll say, "Oh, hey, mate, I will have the risotto." Calm down, please. Calm down. With a little bit of bruschetta.
What about bolognese? Bolognese.
Bolognese.
The bolognese, or what is it?
Yeah,
What?
some people, I mean, you haven't dinner, people trying to look
Yeah.
like
Yes.
they've been traveling around the world and they sound like real tools because they're like, "Oh, I'll have the spaghetti bolognese." I'm like,
Yeah.
mate.
Everything you said
Well, I
in
mean-
Australian except for that.
I know.
If you're having a sandwich, it's jamon, right?
Yeah, come on. I mean, but that you really need to mean it. In Spain, everything is go.
Yeah.
I mean, you get up in the morning, hello, come on, I love you.
Were you people?
Hello, hey, yeah.
Were you guys even allowed to be talking to each other during COVID?
I mean, in Spain, people wasn't allowed. I mean, the safety distance was 8 meters. Because they'll say,
Hey,
"Oh,
Miguel.
that's brilliant. Oh, my God, I'm taking that one with me.
Write it down, call it your own. Hey, Miguel, Nathan was just telling you we're going over to see Anthony Albanese and have dinner at his house, right? Prime Minister of
Lodge.
Australia. Pretty exciting stuff. What was it like when you met the King of Spain and he ordained you or something?
But I mean, I didn't meet him personally face to face.
yeah.
But he did write me a letter and did a communicate to us, and I got it given by the consul of Spain because obviously we could not go to Spain. But like, I have a letter at home.
Do you have a letter at home?
I'm getting more by this.
You are.
I mean, like,
I want to hear the whole
When
thing.
you're amongst Spanish friends, you
no,
just talk
I'm
like
going to start going 8 meters that
You
way.
mean amigos para
Amigos para
siempre.
Amigos para siempre, me will always be my friend.
But the thing is, when I got the letter from the king, I mean, I'm an illegal immigrant. I got a letter from the king.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. Like,
Yes.
that is the biggest achievement as a chef. I mean, when somebody called you from the consulate and said,
Yeah.
"We're going to give you the order of Spain," I'm like, it must be a mistake. Why? I feel
Yeah.
really humbling. Don't
Yes,
deserve it.
yeah.
I said, "Miguel, you do a big job for the Spanish culture in Australian
Yes.
media." And I'm like, but what about normally philosophers, architects,
Yes.
a doctor, people that is important? I mean,
They were like, "You
look at
can't
me.
come back to Spain, but we're going to give you this
I mean,
order if you stay in
I
Australia."
work in the living room. Like, how you going to give me? And gringos say they give you the award so you don't come back to Spain.
We're
So
onto ya.
it would have been a scary phone call to answer though, being a legal immigrant, because either you're going to be honoured or deported.
Yes.
No, but rather sad way I got my immigration report all sorted out. I think the king
Yeah.
got the good word. But like the writing of a king,
Yeah.
I got the letter. I mean, this is pretty cool.
Of course.
He
Yes.
writes, like, he's writing, he's like,
Is it like calligraphy?
oh my God, look at this. I'm getting like
Is it?
crispy chicken.
Chicken
I'm getting
skin.
crispy chicken. Look at this. He's like, oh my God, look at this. I'm getting like,
Nipples.
His
His nipples
nipples.
are going hard.
His
Very
nipples have
excited
arrived
about
for the
like,
interview.
He right. I know, I'm getting, he's like,
It's all curly and-
Miguel. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
oh,
beautiful.
look at this.
Fancy.
Look at this. Look at this.
I know.
So
Swear to
the-
God.
You know what? Watch out when you stand up because there's something else standing up too.
Is the king of in Spain? Is the king as I don't know revered as King Charles? I mean, bad example.
I mean, we don't really. I mean, we look at the king. I mean, when my generation we grew up was
Yeah.
always like. I mean, we don't know. I don't really get into politics, but I mean, like the king is such an amazing figure. Our queen is so beautiful. He's so tall. I think we look at it to him because he's aesthetically so beautiful and
Yeah.
so correct. And
Oh,
so
okay, so
polite.
he's just handsome.
That is like a really good role model. I mean, I don't get into all that monarchy thing, but he's such a handsome, tall, always correct, always say hello to everyone nice. He never stuff it up. I mean, like, you know, he's never going to go and get maggots somewhere or anything like that.
Sure.
I mean, like,
Oh, he
A
is.
little bit of sangria.
You know, we got a king in Australia. I'll be like, hey, man, hey,
yeah,
God.
the
I mean,
queen-
like, we should have been getting
Funnels. Yeah.
the Queen. The
Come on, look at
Queen's an
this.
absolute stunner.
Oh, yeah,
Look
yeah.
at
They're
her
both,
go.
mate. They're both.
Yeah.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
The big man Sean Darcy's in the house. Of course, Fremantle taking on Sydney Swans this weekend over in Sydney. But before we get to that, Nathan, you had some breaking news for Sean this morning.
Big story.
Pretty full on. You apparently are leaving the Dockers, therefore leaving our team.
Now, how do you know this,
reported
Nathan?
in
The
the
West
West Australian.
Australian.
Okay,
The
tell.
Western showing. So they know
Sean
me.
shopped to Vic clubs.
Go.
Fremantle are rapidly losing grip on the finals hopes, with and their premiership planning is in for a jolt with 24-year-old Sean Darcy considering his future in the West. Darcy's management in Victoria is flaunting his services around
Flaunting.
the AFL's inner circles as he seriously considers moving home.
And there's talk not just that you're moving home, but that you're moving to a club that has better flag prospects.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Confirm
exactly
or
what
deny,
I do.
Sean Darcy.
No, that's not.
It says that Fremantle's management will deny this and claim that he's happy at Coburn. But they said that people in your circle,
In your circle.
in
In
your
my circle.
circle, and we are firmly in that circle, have said that you've been discussing this with your circle friends.
My circle friends. Who are they? I wonder who they are.
Yeah,
I think they're the same circle friends that you always see in the Woman's Day.
Yeah. Sources
Yeah.
close
Sources.
to Sean Darcy.
So you were with your circle of friends,
Circle of
obviously.
friends, that was a big
Mary,
group.
like, you know, what is it? Ring a Rosie.
Yes.
And then you just blurted it out, obviously.
Yeah, that's what happened. And somehow, yeah, the
been
Western
reported in the
Australian.
paper.
I think they were there too as well, so
Yeah.
they were hanging
Yeah.
out with us.
Now, for anyone going, come on, there is some truth in that. Look, I don't know because they said that he would say that this isn't happening. They
Yeah,
said the
so-
club would tell Sean not to say this isn't happening.
They're all
But
over it. They
I
can
have to
predict
say,
the future.
I have to say, like, you are, I think, the fourth Hemsworth, so you may have some acting ability. But when you came in and we told you about this, you looked dumbfounded.
Genuinely surprised.
And then we showed you the article, and you were reading it like you've never read words before. Like, it was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like, this is
It's a lot of
written word.
shaking of your head as you
Oh,
read it.
it's a bit of you laugh at it. You can't get really angry at that sort of stuff. You got to laugh at it. And
They've just got columns to fill,
Yeah,
basically.
they've
So,
got-
But where's
yeah.
your contract at?
I've got 18 months left in my contract, so
So almost
yeah.
2
Wouldn't be the
seasons.
first player to be
No?
traded while
18
still
months,
under
that's enough to
contract.
get interest-free at Harvey Norman, isn't it?
But as
But
we
you've
know,
got
he's a
roots here.
dominant force, Natalie.
You've bought a house.
Yeah, I bought a house. I'm
And
planning a
they're-
big renovation
yeah.
on it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. If that tells you that I'm going to stay around for a bit, I think that will.
Well, he could rent it out. Oh, Jesus. Holes
that
everywhere in
means-
this story.
So that means either the West Australian made it up or there is a liar in
In
the
your
circle.
I reckon there's a liar in my
There's a
circle.
filthy
Who
That's what I
liar.
mean.
is most likely to be the liar in your circle?
Oh, one of your best mates, like, you can't trust them.
Straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Do you want to name names right
Yeah,
now?
let's go
I'll
through a couple
go
of them.
Tom Hart, Jamie Hess, and Sam Ralph or Marcus Stavro.
I've heard of all of them, and
Yeah.
they're all liars.
All dodgy.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you
Sam
can't
Ralph
trust them.
related to John Ralph, who breaks all the stories over
Oh,
in the
there you
news.
Wreck-It
go.
Ralph.
There could be.
And Wreck-It Ralph. They call him Wreck-It Ralph on Fox Footy.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Look at me with football things.
It wasn't really the cartoon thing.
I'm right in the conversation. I'm right in this one. I've never felt so connected to a sports before.
Sean, you're off to Sydney, where
Yes,
Freo have
yes.
had a pretty ordinary run in recent times. And, of course, Sydney coming off the back, the whole Buddy booing thing
Yeah,
and blah, blah,
Collingwood
blah.
have fired Buddy up.
So, how are you feeling ahead of this one?
Yeah, we're really excited to get over. We leave today and go over to the SCG, which is a pretty small ground, pretty contested footy. So it's a pretty honest game that we're going to have to show up, and it's really exciting.
Have you ever had many boos directed just solely at you?
Oh, I'm sure I've had an odd couple of boos.
Not every time you touch the footy, though.
No, not every time.
You know
It's
why?
pretty
'Cause you're
brutal,
lovable.
isn't it?
Did you think that was weird with Buddy?
I didn't watch the game, to be honest. But I think you go against Collingwood, they're a pretty
feral.
army, and there's a lot of them. So
It's true.
they're like,
They're renowned
Collingwood
for it.
people accept their feral, don't they?
Yeah.
They
Oh,
they accept
Yeah.
the narrative,
They
don't
get to
they?
it.
they're really passionate, and they get around.
They share their teeth around and smile about
So
it.
you're either with them or you're against them. So that's the type of attitude that they have. So they help Collingwood get over, track down some big margins too. So they're playing their role.
It'd be a good question for Hayden Ballantyne and Ryan Crowley. For years, they were booed every
Yes.
time that they went to a ground.
They were pretty filthy,
but
though.
Hayden Ballantyne used to love it.
Yeah, he used to feed off
You
it,
hate
yeah.
me. Come on, I'll take you on.
Yeah. Not Sean, though.
No.
No, he's
not often.
a lovable, gentle
He's
giant.
just a lovable buffoon is what we call him
In the
around
circle.
here.
In the circle.
In the circle, in the small circle.
And that's not a lie. I'm the one of the trustworthy ones in the circle.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
And the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, in the House on his way home from the coronation. You're a Republican, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How does that, do you feel a bit conflicted
Not
sitting
at
there
all.
watching the pageantry and the pomp?
Not at all. I want an Australian as our head of state. But
Yeah.
there are, of course, 57 countries in the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Only 15 countries are part of the realm, which means that
Oh, it's like
king,
Game of Thrones.
the king is the king of Australia.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's important as Prime Minister that I respect institutions which
Until
are
we
there,
change it.
which
Yep.
are, exactly.
That-
And that you do the right thing. I wasn't there to have a protest, which is what some people seem to think I should have done. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's not the time nor the
Albo,
place.
that's really interesting to hear because I didn't know there was only 15 left that are ruled by the
Yes.
king. Because my thing was that, and I think we should be a Republican. We've got to that point. But I was thinking, if we do that, then we're out of the Commonwealth Games,
No.
and that's one thing that we win all the
Not
time.
at all.
Canada.
No, Canada's
that's
one of
yes.
the realm countries.
Is it?
Yeah,
Don't they have a president?
Canada's in. No.
Ah.
No, they have a Governor General like us. So the
Right.
15 realm countries were
Yeah.
the people. You get a better seat if you're a realm country.
Right, okay.
We
Oh,
were.
really?
There are the realm countries, then the non-realm
Yes.
Commonwealth countries,
And then Harry.
and then
And then Prince Andrew. Yeah.
it's the only time where the United States representatives and France and some of the big G7 countries,
Yes.
they're
They're-
further back from Australia.
Oh, that's good news.
Now,
For you. It's good.
Antigua's first. We're always second of the realm countries.
Oh, sorry. It's
Antigua and
So
alphabetical.
it's always Antigua, Australia, Bahamas. So I've got to know the Prime Ministers of Antigua and Bahamas very well.
Are they a bit of fun?
They are. They are
Talk
actually.
about cricket.
Exactly. But, well, particularly Antigua.
Hey, we need to know the one question that everyone was asking about the coronation, and this actually is from the Queen's funeral as well, is the toilet situation there. My dad was flipping out watching it going, what if you have to go to the toilet? Like, because you're there for hours, and it doesn't look like it's a situation where you can get up from your seat and go to a portaloo. So what's the deal?
The deal is don't
Don't go.
drink
Yes.
water.
Really? So do they
the
say if you
morning.
need to go to the toilet, you cannot?
Literally. No, I think in an emergency you could, but it would be pretty
Embarrassing.
disruptive and you're conscious of the cameras. So literally, the night before, we had
You start the drying out process.
yeah, we had a gathering of all of the Australian representatives.
Yep.
And, of course, we had 3 Victoria Cross winners,
Yep.
Yeah.
including the wonderful Keith Payne, who's just an absolute legend. And we had Sam Kerr,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
What a champion.
great West
Yes.
Australian, chosen by me to be the flag
Thank you.
bearer. And she just looked fantastic.
She did.
And she's so awesome. And so we had Sam and we had Nick Cave and we had
Adam
Adam
Hills.
Hills and we had a nurse from the NHS and we had people from the arts, Yvonne Kenny, and we had an amazing group.
The
of
AstraZeneca,
Australians.
developer.
And,
Yep.
and we told, we got told, everyone, make sure in the morning you don't drink a whole lot of water.
Yes. Adam Hill said in an interview that he did a dummy run the day before of just having a little bit of coffee in the morning to get himself up and about and then not drinking for the rest of the day to see how long he could hold on for so that he knew that he was prepared.
And then like
Training.
a bowl of
You need training for
Yeah,
an
you
event
do,
like
don't you?
a bowl of sawdust for
Yes,
breakfast.
yes.
When you're at the coronation, because we all watched a fair bit of it on TV, but it gets to the point, right, where we're seeing it and like, okay, where's the sport? Not for everyone.
Well, the
I'm getting
Dockers
you,
were
Nathan.
playing, Sean, so what were you going to do?
But did you get bored there?
No, not at all. It
Oh,
was
come on.
No, not at all.
Anthony.
How
there
far
was
before it started did you have to be in situ in your spot?
Well, not too long beforehand. Some were there many hours beforehand.
Not the important realmers,
No.
though.
The realm, exactly. So when you're from the realm, you get in just before other royals, and then the actual royal family were there. So Princess Mary was just sitting just across
Really?
the
Yeah,
same
right.
aisle as we were, and so you get to see all the royals moving in, and then the royal family coming in, and then it's on, and there is something about the acoustics in a cathedral.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, in this case, an abbey.
Yeah.
That is just magnificent, and the singing and the music was just beautiful.
But was there was a bit too much of it. There was 21 of those choir songs. 21. 15's
21.
probably
Hang
enough.
on.
10's enough.
It went for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The last one went for more than double that.
And the worst thing is,
Whoa.
like, Katy
Okay.
Perry was there.
Yeah.
It's like, can you just stand up and do a bit
She
of
was trying to find her
fireworks,
seat for
something.
most
a
of
bit
it.
of I Kissed a Girl?
All right, we've got more with the Prime Minister coming up next.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
Anthony Albanese, it's always a pleasure to have you in town.
It's good to be here, and I'm sorry I've disappointed you, mate, by you not being the flag bearer.
Yeah.
It was very upsetting for me.
But we've seen your upper
It
arms,
was Sam
Nathan,
Kerr or
and I don't think you could
You
have.
made the final 2 on the list.
Yeah.
I know, but like,
You ran
I
second.
understand that Sam Kerr has done some things, but like Sean,
She's
come
pretty
on.
handy. Like
She is.
Yeah, she's
We're
all right.
related.
She's all right.
We're related.
we beat England 2-0.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's
You're
been off-
related.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In what way?
Her mother is first cousins with my dad, so we grew up.
So
kind
you're
of
second
together.
cousins?
Second cousins, but we're quite.
Besties.
Tight.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sam obviously in a long time since she's been
And she
dominated. She's
she
kind of
doesn't
put me
call
to
when
the
she's
side.
in town, does
yeah,
she?
no, it's really weird that way. But yeah, there you go. You wouldn't have thought that, would you?
She's a terrific person. She's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about a couple of other big events you've got coming up. So after this, you've got what coming up on the horizon?
Well, we've got the budget tomorrow night. So then
Great
we've got-
timing.
We've got the big budget cell then,
Yeah.
talking about what we're doing
Yeah.
for a better future and all the...
Are people going to be happy with this budget?
Well, we've got $14.6 billion worth of cost of living relief.
Okay.
And so that will be rolling out. We understand people are under pressure, but we're also, it's a really responsible budget. I think we've got the balance right for strengthening the economy. So I hope people receive it well, but we'll wait and see. We're doing our best. So we will do that, and then at the end of next week, I go to the G7 in Hiroshima in Japan, which is all of the 7 largest economies in the world, and Australia has been invited by Japan, by Prime Minister Kishida, and the following week, Prime Minister Kishida, Prime Minister Modi of India, and President Biden will be in Australia for hosting the Quad Leaders meeting, which is the largest, most significant gathering in Australia since we hosted the G20 a decade ago. So
but I hear there's something bigger than that on the horizon after that.
And then after, well, I'm hosting the big 3,
Yes.
the leaders of United States,
Yeah.
India, and Japan,
Huge.
and then next month
Yes.
I'm hosting the other big 3.
The bigger 3.
Who's
The
that?
other big 3.
Who's that?
You 3. Nathan, Nat, and Sean, come to the lodge.
Yes.
As
So-
promised. As
promised.
promised.
This
You're delivering.
This is a prime ministerial promise that you are delivering on. It's actually
done.
happening.
It's in the diary. How are you going to broadcast from
The
Well,
lodge.
we are from
the lodge.
Canberra. I'm
We-
wondering
we
how
will-
you're working that out.
We're doing it
We
from the
are.
hotel, so we're going to
Yeah.
broadcast from the hotel that we're staying at.
Yeah.
Because you apparently won't let us stay at the lodge,
Yeah.
which is actually pretty.
pretty
no spare
hurtful.
bedrooms.
Pretty
and
rude,
everything.
but we'll
Sorry
get
about
into that later on. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're going to be coming to your place for dinner. But there is 1,000 questions on the table, Sean, about dinner.
Well, I think number one is what are we going to wear?
What do we wear?
Nathan's really bad at wearing suits.
You're looking pretty good at the moment.
He's
I've
wearing
got to say.
tracksuit pants.
No, but this is my point. And I was speaking about you on the weekend. I said we're going to be going to have dinner with Anthony at the lodge, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, what are you going to wear?" And I went, "Well, it's his house, so really, it's up to you what we wear. Because you could wear trackies and a t-shirt, and we could just get some
You can be
pizza."
chilled. No,
What-
we
what are
won't
you
have
gonna-
pizza.
what-
We'll do a bit better than that.
Are we going to have we're going to have
We'll
like a
do a bit
chefy
better
person
than
there?
that. Absolutely. You're going to
Yeah,
get
well,
looked after.
It's the lodge experience.
I don't know. I didn't know what we're getting. I
What
thought
do
we
you
might
think
have
we're
been.
getting
I don't know.
pizza?
I thought we were going to like Uber Eats.
Did you think? Do you think we're Netflix and chilling at the lodge?
Careful.
Jody, you're sitting over there. I'll sit here with Anthony.
We are certainly looking forward to it. That's for sure.
Well, we really appreciate you dropping by. It's always a pleasure when we get to meet you.
It is,
Prime
mate.
Minister's
It
in the
is,
house
yeah.
tomorrow. We will see you at the lodge
We'll see you at the lodge
in a month or so, which is very exciting.
You will indeed.
We have to- I
And
mean-
I will now be intrigued by what you are wearing.
Well, it's going
we are
to
too.
be. We're
So
Perth people, and we're
nervous.
going to. It was snowing in Canberra on the weekend, so
Yeah.
we're going to be
Oh.
wearing everything. Is the answer just to keep warm?
It's knowing now, apparently. So in 6 weeks' time, I'll give you the big tip. It will be even
It'll be colder. Yeah,
even
Yeah.
colder. So make sure you wear your woolies.
Yeah. Just a tip for the security: I would thoroughly search Sean internally before he walks into the lodge.
And I gladly welcome that, Nathan.
Thoroughly search Nathan internally on the way out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
not on the
no
way in.
stealing the
No, we're
cutlery.
not stealing. We'll just like borrow things
Souvenir.
and bring them back
It's
to Perth.
souveniring.
And for all of your friends, if there is anything, cutlery, chairs, plates in
Toto.
Nathan or Sean's house, I reckon that we can.
Yeah, I'm very honest. You can tell, can't
I
you?
reckon, but these guys, I reckon anything in that, can you report it?
Hey,
please?
can I just ask you a
anything with
question?
PM and C on it is not theirs.
Are you going to have extra security?
PM and C doesn't stand for Paul McCartney.
Are you going to have extra security posted on each of us?
Toto will look after you.
Toto's
Toto will be
terrifying.
assigned as having her eyes on you.
I'm coming with
Which
a
she
pocket
will
full of
anyway,
schmackos.
I'm taking a selfie with your jocks on my head.
The big test is, Toto, I had a dinner recently, and I just sort of sit there, and it was various business leaders, and Toto goes around, and she is very cute. I'm biased, of course, but
Yes.
she will look up with those big eyes, which say, I have never been fed
Yes.
in my life. I'm starving. And you wait to see who will give
Who will give?
first food from their plate.
It'll be me.
Yes.
Guaranteed. It'll be me. Well, we can't wait. We'll see you there. Good luck with the budget tomorrow. You've got a
good
big,
luck.
you've got a
I'll
big
get
24
the
hours ahead.
pizzas ready.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Nice.
It's the Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
If there's one thing we gag for around here, it's a budget. We had the federal budget earlier in the week, and yesterday there was a state budget handed down.
And we got given the ultimate gift. $400 to take off our $1 million electricity bills.
The Premier and Treasurer, because he loves all the jobs. Mark McGowan, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Mark. No, it was good news for a lot of people with the $400.
I mean, you're going to
we'll
take
accept
it.
any
Not going
day.
to knock it back.
So we want to know what are you getting us with, though? That's $400. What are you actually...
Yeah, where are you
getting
taking?
us?
Yeah, we're looking at the $400. We know you're taking some stuff away
Where's
from
the
us.
catch?
Yes.
Where's the catch?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you got?
You'll have to. You guys are financial experts. You'll be able to trawl through the papers.
All right, Mark. So for the people that cannot be bothered reading this boring stuff, what are the hits? Give us the hits that you're excited about.
The highlights are these. Every household gets $400 off your electricity this coming year. $2.7 billion additional for health, doctors, nurses, and so forth. $3 billion on climate action. So we're going to batteries and additional wind farms. So by the end of this decade, we will not be burning coal in statewide generation. So we're basically moving to virtually entirely renewables.
Is that a bit early, by the
and,
way? Can I just jump in there for a second?
Well, if you're not going to start it, when do you start it?
Yeah, no, not
Well,
starting
yeah,
it. No, continuing it until you're at a point where you can change
do you think
over.
that's optimistic?
Yeah,
No,
I know that the power bills will continually go up, and that'll be the thing that people will just be going off about. And I totally get the renewable situation. I'm not against that at all for 1 second, but phasing it out in a way that it means that people don't.
Oh, you want it to
aren't doing
phase
their
out
backside.
slower? Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
doing their backsides.
It's been a long time coming. I mean, rooftop solar and wind's been out there for a long time, and virtually half of houses now have rooftop solar. So we have too much solar during the day, and we've got to store it. So by doing this, by the end of this decade, virtually most houses will have rooftop solar. We store it and use it of an evening, and essentially that allows us to manage the system much better than we currently can. It's actually good for our electricity network as opposed to the current arrangement.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. What a wonderful buffet that we've got to
I
dine
knew
at.
It was. I started with the
Nathan,
soup, ended with seafood.
Yes, Mark.
I knew those, Nathan. I knew those big surpluses that appeal to you.
I like big surpluses, you know that.
We cannot lie.
Hey, Premier, well, we got you too. You were over in China recently. We saw that on the news, probably last month, and all that kind of stuff, doing some trade stuff, which is always good. But when are they going to take us over? Did they have that discussion? When the Chinese
Put it in
coming
the
over?
calendar.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we just want to know.
They've got everything in place.
I know they've got, I just want to know.
They've got everything in place. They're just one day they're just waiting for the text message, and then suddenly by that afternoon we'll be Chinese.
So have they sent you a calendar appointment, or how does it work?
No, they're very respectful actually of Australia and Western Australia. Very respectful. So I was in Japan and Korea, same thing.
Yeah.
They want to trade with us. And the reason that I do these things is because they do actually buy so much of what we produce.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you've got to have a good relationship with them, as you know, with your customers. I've been to your events with your advertisers. You have a good relationship with your customers. So
Yes.
No, we
that's what
totally
we want
get it.
to. That's
But
what we
when they
want
start
to do.
building another island like
Yes.
they did in the South Pacific, just next to Rottnest, it's
Yes.
3 times as big with a
And-
with an
like-
army base there. What do we do then?
None of our clients are trying to take us over.
And all the-
Like,
and could you
thirsty
imagine-
camel aren't busting the door down and like jumping on air. Do you know what I mean?
And for some reason, I reckon their island would have quokkas, but their quokkas would be twice the size on steroids, like the swimmers.
I didn't. When I went up there, I didn't see them building a bridge down here to take us over. No, they were.
I don't think they would arrive by bridge.
Keen to buy. They just want to buy our stuff, and I want to sell them our stuff because
Okay.
thousands of your listeners, their jobs and
Sean and
our
I-
income for our health system depends on it.
Yeah, Sean and I did learn Mandarin at high school, so we're
And I've
good
eaten
to
a
go.
mandarin, so
I can sing them happy birthday
Yes.
anytime.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, $4.2 billion surplus. I mean, fantastic.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
a lot.
and it's really great. And you feel so proud when you've saved money. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like one of those things where you want to take people to the ATM and show them. But
Yeah.
like now, everyone's coming after our GST because they're going, we've got to know how much money you make, which makes no sense because just because you've been really good with your cash doesn't mean that people should. Like I haven't been good with mine, so I want some more of you. But they're coming, aren't they? They're going to come back. Are they going to be able to get their hands on our GST? Will the pressure be too much for the answer to keep being no?
I don't think there'll be a change to the system, but you don't want to take it for granted. So we get 70 cents back for every dollar we put in now. Next year it goes to 75 cents for every dollar we put in. Queensland gets $1.20 or so for every dollar they put in. Northern Territory they get $5 back for every dollar they put in. Tasmania $1.80 for every dollar they put in. So we're a big donor to all of them.
Yeah, we are.
But they don't really appreciate that, to be honest,
No.
and they really don't like being reminded of it.
Well, Australian federal government was because they were able to get a possible surplus going because of the fact of the mining industry. So that was a good win.
That's right. So the Commonwealth was able to get a surplus, which meant they paid down debt for the first time in about 15 years. That's because of the efforts of many West Australians out there working and selling our
Digging
products
holes.
overseas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one.
Love your work,
That's the
Mark. Another successful budget. Do you
Oh.
still want to be treasurer? Do you not want to let someone else have a go?
Yeah, come on, mate.
Oh, I like having my hands on the money.
Yeah. When it starts to slide, though, when you know that the iron ore
that's
price
right.
has gone down, you
Yeah,
go,
when that starts to dip.
just handball this one over next door.
Lovely to talk. We'll catch
Lovely
up
to
soon.
talk to you.
See you, mate.
Thank you for the free bag of electricity.
No worries. Use it wisely.
Always
See you later.
appreciate it.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
Always great to have Jeremy McGovern in the house, and he's just had a business proposal
No.
from Nathan.
No.
You don't have to say what the business is.
No, I
but-
will not say what the business is because then we won't make millions of dollars.
That's
but
No,
it's
that's
going
right.
to be
Someone
invested
steal the
in it.
idea.
It's going to invest in it.
Yeah.
Gov?
You didn't know about the Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candle, though, did you?
No,
So
I
this is in
didn't. And
here.
I'm
This-
not too flat. I didn't either.
This smells like my vagina. So that was it's sold out on Goop. website.
Do you reckon what? Because it's her,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, I don't know.
Has
yeah,
anyone,
it would be.
Has anyone else made one?
I don't know that anyone has verified that it's...
Natalie smelled like batteries and tears.
Sure.
I was just saying stuff, Nat. I'm sorry.
Gav, what are your thoughts on
This
that?
football segment's going well.
Yeah, it's going great. We're off to a flyer. Oh, I know what Mother's Day gift I'm getting.
Yeah, it's going to
right.
save you a fortune. Are you prepared? Hudson would be prepared, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he is actually. He went to school today with a couple of bucks in his pocket. They do it at school.
Yeah, Mother's Day
It's,
stall.
Mother's Day stall. So it's actually great. I don't have to get anything now. Hudson does it. So
What about the other kids? They want to get
They'll
something?
they'll chip in, and we'll just say that
They'll
from
chip
all
in?
of them. And yeah, we'll just run with the Mother's Day stall.
You know
Can I
what?
just
Yeah.
say quickly, isn't it amazing how far we've come, right, with children? Because when we were at school, this was our class. Any kids listening right now, we would be in art class and they'd say, today we're making ashtrays for our parents. And it was like, and
progressed
everyone
as
would
a
come home with an
society.
ashtray because without fail, everyone's parents smoked.
Smoking. It's so true.
I might do that actually for Maddie. She's a heavy smoker.
Hey, Gov, the funny thing is, so my daughter, the youngest, she's made something for my wife, and it's good. It's really
she?
good. Yeah, it's really good. They
How
made
old's
it at
Sonny?
school. She's 12.
Oh, do
And
12-year-olds
so-
still make things for their parents?
Yeah, and it's actually, it's really good.
What is it?
I think it's really good.
No, don't
Well,
say.
I can't
It's
say
a
that.
Mail that to
surprise.
me. Mail that to me.
No, I'm gonna mail
He'll
something
tell
else
you
to
later.
I'll tell you after.
He'll tell you later.
after. But my oldest son, he comes in and he goes, oh, so what are we getting, Mum?
Oh.
For
And you
Mother's
said,
Day.
she's not my mother, didn't you?
No, I didn't use
Oh.
that one, but I just said, hey, you're not a part of this. Because when you say, what are we getting, Mum? I'm buying it for Mum, obviously. Generally on behalf of the younger kids, but not on when you get a certain age,
He's
you've got
got
to
a
do your
job
own,
and
don't
he-
you?
Yeah, what
I'm
age?
straight
What
up.
age? I reckon it's Hudson's almost ready to go now at 4.
Well, I'm surprised he doesn't have jobs. I mean, that's the main stickler with this. I think that, honestly, I think that it's probably around 13 or 14, I feel like
You have
should
to get
start.
your own gift
I
for
think
your
so.
parents.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 tops. Do you think? What do you think?
Oh, I think, well, your two oldest both have jobs.
Yes.
So they can buy their own gifts for their mother.
Yes, one will and the other one won't.
Definitely won't.
Oh, if you've got a job, it's I think
That's
so,
a
for
no-brainer.
sure.
Yeah. Because
I
you've
had
got
a
an
job
income.
in year 6. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, you did too.
yeah. Hey, you came in here with the coffee and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, where'd you get it from? And you said, I don't know, because you don't read the business names of where
No,
you
I
get coffee.
don't.
What happens?
I'll just gauge the vibe and the look of it, and then decide. But I look at the coffee machine.
What makes so the coffee machine and the decor? Do you like
not
a bit
really
rustic
the
or do you like
decor.
sleek?
Not really. Look, to be honest, the front Bay Marie
Yeah.
is a massive.
Oh, so
winner.
the cabinet, if it's got lots of cakes
yeah,
and
if
things
it's
in
got
it,
probably not cakes,
Wraps.
but good wraps and brekkie. I'm like, all right, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then the next look for me is probably at the
At
big
the
coffee
machine.
machine. If it looks like a nice
Like
one,
a
I'm
jet
like,
engine.
oh,
shiny.
I'm gonna have a crack at this joint. But if it's not, if it's a little espresso machine,
walking
I'm out of there.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And
And I would have been so excited. Oh my God, Jeremy comes
Yeah,
here buying
and then,
coffee,
oh,
and
look,
then
he's
next minute he
walking
turns
out.
around and walks out disgusted.
No,
do you
and
have your
I hate
coffee?
doing that as well.
Yeah.
So I've sort of,
Got to look from
Oh,
afar.
yeah,
I
right.
sort of go almost
Across
across
the
the
road.
other side of the road.
Get your binoculars out.
do you have a
Check
vibe?
out this pervert.
Do you get a vibe off the barista? Like, if they kind of look like a bit of a hipster, is that a plus?
Nah,
Or-
no, I'm
you
not
don't
too.
care?
I'm not too
You don't-
worried about the
it's the
baristas, to
machine.
be honest. No, it's weird because they're probably the two things I look at. I don't even look at the name of where we went. Oh, I went.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I do like seeing a barista that's got a bit of ink on them and, bit of jazz going up in
Yeah.
their nose.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's
stuff
the
like
only-
that.
that's
You
the
think,
only-
oh, these guys are creative.
They're the only
cats.
people I'll let serve me at
Yeah.
JB Hi-Fi too.
That's right.
And they better not be smiling either. Or you look miserable at your job.
Oh, tick, tick.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
We hear rumours that some of you have children.
Oh,
And
I know.
those
What
children
were you thinking?
can be a nightmare. Here to help you raise them. He's written The Parenting Revolution, a guide to raising resilient kids. That's what a lot of parents are after. Dr. Justin Coulson,
Now-
father of 6.
We do actually feel like we're cheating on Maggie Dent, but she's
Yes.
given us the green light.
Yes.
Because you're in the Maggie Dent posse.
Good on Mags. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Appreciate that. I should also mention this conversation is really only going to be between Sean and I today because
Yes.
no one else in the room has kids.
No,
Right,
no.
Justin. I don't have any questions for it. It's unbelievable. Hey, but
So
talk-
you know what? We'll see you guys at the end of the show. Let's go out for breakfast.
resilience is one of those things and keywords that come up all the time. Schools are trying to
Yes.
teach it. And our day, the way that we
yes.
talk about it versus today, it seems like...
A generation ago, it wasn't a thing. Nobody mentioned it. It was just something that kids had inherently.
I feel that there's a lot of cop-outs. Does that make sense? Like I felt that us three here, sitting here, were held accountable, and you too.
You know what
Justin,
it is?
when you're from your parents, held accountable.
When we were
what?
younger, our parents didn't protect us from the world as much as parents do these days. Because
Is that fair?
they
Is
didn't
that a
care.
thing?
So there's a lot more coddling going on. We've got
Yes.
research that shows that. Here's something really fascinating. A couple of days ago on the Happy Families podcast, my wife and I talked about school camp.
Yes.
Yep.
There's a mum that wrote in and said, my kiddo's going off to school camp, 9, 10 years old, terrified. And I'm thinking, I'm just not going to let him go.
Oh.
And so we had this conversation about it, popped it onto our Facebook page. It's gone nuts. Everyone's, is it okay to keep the kids away from school camp? Heaps of parents saying yes. I'm sort of saying an alternative view is that avoidance reinforces anxiety.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of coddling the kids, we can help them to be prepared for this and give them the experience. Because when you do hard things, that's when you become resilient.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
if you don't do the hard thing, then you don't actually discover what you've got inside you, that potential to grow and learn and develop. So it's not like we need to say, toughen up, princess, just get out there, give them a thump and say, have a go. That's not going to help them. But we can supportively guide them to the hard thing and gently support them through it. And when they do that, they become more resilient.
Can I tell you, my school camp to Balaki Rock in when I was in Kalgoorlie.
It's still ingrained.
It is, and it was. We were out camping with a couple of Aboriginal elders, and back then in our day, they didn't. No one really cared about your welfare. Your parents didn't really ask. I was traumatised for most of that trip. But yet I still remember it and had an amazing time. And it was traumatised because it was cold, it was wet.
Yeah.
They remember they cut that kangaroo's
Kangaroo's
tail
tail
off and then handed it to me. I had to sit on the bus while it wiggled around in my hands. So it was actually like a nightmare, like a horrific nightmare.
You're not selling it.
But yet I went to it, I got through it, and like now I've
Yeah,
got
look
a
at
fun
him, he's
story.
fine. So, Justin, how would you prepare? So, if you do have a kid that's anxious about going to school camp, what are you going to say to them? What do you actually do to prepare them for it?
So in the book, I talk about how when we meet our kids' basic psychological needs, they thrive. They become
Yeah.
resilient. And so these basic psychological needs, you want to have a feeling that you're connected with the people around you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go to the camp if you hate everybody and everybody
Yeah,
hates you.
of
If you
course.
know you're going to get bullied, this is going to be a tough situation. You've got to have the trust of the teachers. So
Yeah.
that relationship stuff matters. You've got to also have a sense of what psychologists call competence. That is, I reckon I can figure this out. I reckon I can master this. And so as parents, we've got to equip our kids, whether it's showing up for the exam or going to the party or whatever the hard thing is that they're going to do this afternoon, this weekend, next month, in the holidays, whatever it is, the camp, you just talk them through it. Okay, what's going to happen? What would you do if that happened? Give them a bit of a dry run, help them feel competent.
Yeah.
And the third thing is you've got to have a sense of control. When we feel like we're being controlled, everyone's telling us what to do all the time, we really resist that. If you're in a relationship with somebody who's constantly controlling you, well,
Sure.
you can take them to court, right?
Yes,
Like this is
Don't
not,
worry, I'm coming for you.
not healthy. And so the kids have to have a sense that they've got a say, they've got a voice.
Some autonomy,
Yeah, you
Which
do
is
that.
weird because when we were growing up, we didn't have a say or
No.
a voice.
No, we
So that's why it flies in the face of everything that our generation is looking at, going, wait, we turned out all right.
Why
But
do you reckon it's flipped from one generation to the next? It's in such an extreme way.
So I want to be really clear about giving your kids a voice doesn't mean that they get to choose.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
this is
hear
the-
that, everyone?
This is the critical thing. You can't say
my house.
whatever you want, kids. That's independence. That's unhealthy. The research says that's terrible for kids.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about here is a collaborative approach where you say, if you could choose, what would it look like? And then you brainstorm and problem solve from there with your kids. Like when you teach your kids to problem solve, what you're actually teaching them is you've got options. You can figure stuff out. And every now and again, as a parent, you step in and say, that would be really fun, wouldn't it? But
Yeah.
we can't go
It's
that
not gonna
way.
cut
So
it, yeah.
we've got these boundaries that we've got to stay in. Let's try again. So the autonomy concept is more of a collaboration with wise parents who understand their children's development. Get that right, and voila, away you go.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
We're joined in the studio by Dr. Justin Coulson. The book is called The Parenting Revolution, A Guide to Raising Resilient Kids. He is a parenting expert. He has 6 daughters.
Oh, and not
no
just that.
grey hair. What?
Not just
How
that.
is that possible?
6 daughters, right? So we're looking at him and we're going, okay, you're around our age, and then you just told us what?
My eldest daughter, who has been married for like 4 years now, is about to make me a grandpa.
You're going to be a grandfather. Sean, we live in a world where we could be grandparents. No!
Well, let's be clear.
no, we could.
You're not going to be.
Because you have no children and no prospects.
Nathan, you found something you want to discuss
I
here.
was just going through Granddad's book. And I'm just talking about parenting in different countries.
Yeah.
And I was amazed to know that the French tend not to praise their children.
Yeah, smart, those French.
So what are you talking
But we live
about?
in a world of praise. Yes, praise all the time.
Gotta pump up those tires,
You do.
right?
You got to
Yeah.
tell the kids they're great, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So what's the go?
Research evidence doesn't support it. The French have actually got this right, and the rest of us have got this wrong. So my kids do not get praise. Doesn't mean that they just get an endless barrage of criticism. They just don't get
But what
praise.
about when they do something actually awesome?
When they do something really awesome, like let's say they run into their house and say, "Dad, you're not going to believe it. I got an A+ on the test, or I won the cross
and
country."
they'd really struggled.
Yeah, you burn their favourite skirt.
Yeah.
and at that point, now this is a little bit of this is not parenting 101. This is we're stepping up a level here. Okay,
Righto.
So what research shows is that when you praise your kids, they start to rely on you for external judgments about their worth and their value.
Yeah, right.
So they start to look to you. It's kind of like when you get off air,
Yeah.
if you're constantly looking at your content director and saying, "How'd we do today? How'd we do today?"
Oh, we would never ask him that.
No.
And also, we don't have a content director. Very bare bones here.
But you become increasingly insecure
Yes.
when you're constantly looking to external sources.
Yeah,
for
like, was that
judgment
okay?
and
Was that okay?
evaluation.
Was that okay?
So
Yeah, right.
My objective as a parent is to remove that judgment and evaluation from my interaction with my kids until they know how they feel about it themselves. So kiddo comes in, she's just stoked because something awesome happened. And when she says, "Dad, I won," or "I got an A+," my response is, "How awesome. You seem totally stoked."
Oh,
Yeah, right. So you
seem
reflect on
So
how they
I'm
feel.
telling them, I say what I see. Oh,
Yeah.
you must have been pumped when that came through.
Yes.
And they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I felt so good." And then the question is, so what'd you do to get the A+? Or how come you won? I mean, did
Yeah.
everyone walk, or have you
Yeah.
been training? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tell me the story about what they did to be awesome. At which point I can say whatever I want because they've kind of praised themselves. And I can say,
Yeah.
"You know,
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. Give us a hug, fist
Yeah.
pump, whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can have that positive feedback after. But praising your kids, and here's something fascinating about the research. The kids that we praise the most, they're the ones that we think that they need it the most. They're the ones who struggle the most, right? So when they have that sense of achievement, when they do something well, we dive in there and we don't just praise them. What psychologists call, we provide effusive or overpraising.
Yes.
Right. And that's actually doing more damage because they're already feeling lousy. And then when we say, "Oh, you're so awesome, you're this, you're that." In fact, one researcher found that kids, once they get past about 5 or 6 years of age, when we say, "You are so awesome, you're amazing, what a superstar," they start to question. They think, if you're praising me that much, what's the matter
yeah.
with me?
Yeah,
it's kind of like
right.
when you're saying,
Oh,
the
okay.
broccoli tastes so good, it's
Yes,
amazing, you've got to
you're
eat the broccoli. They're like,
overcompensating.
"Yeah, something's the matter." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good, Nat. Well done.
Because naturally you think
You
you'll-
just praise her.
You think
Her
that
great question.
you'll praise kids to get them to do what you want to do, like good sharing, or
Yeah.
that was really great playing with your
Way
little
to
brother.
dub on Daddy.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so how do you get them to share, or how do you encourage them to do what you want them to do if you're not praising them?
So there's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing is, like if I walk into the kitchen and my kids have tidied the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, you know what? Parenting
Miracles.
expert here. Hello, it does happen now and then.
Okay, wow.
But I don't walk into their bedroom or whatever and say, "Hey, great tidying."
Yeah.
What I do instead is I say, "Hey, I've just walked in here and everything's perfect. Was this you?"
What have you done?
Yeah, and then I'll say, "I really appreciate that." So appreciation is not
Yes.
praise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because appreciation just makes you feel like somebody noticed you,
Yeah.
and that feels
Just
nice.
acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.